These protesters in Mexico City say cross-border migration is changing their country's capital for the worse. Over the last decade, an influx of mostly American so-called digital nomads have moved here to work remotely and also enjoy a cheaper cost of living. Protesters say the newcomers have driven up rents beyond the reach of locals.
It was bound to happen. It was bound to happen. This has been building up and it finally reached boiling point this past weekend. For the past several years, Mexico has been getting lots of immigrants from the north. Expats from the north, because they don't like to call themselves immigrants. They call themselves expats. And by that I mean the Americans and Canadians from the north. And they are also getting lots of immigrants from the south. They're getting immigrants from Venezuela. They're getting people from Haiti and many Latin American countries who are also coming in. Now, this tension has been building up. And in this video, I will show you 2 years of progression. 2 years ago, how the protest started very little. And then it started becoming with insults. And then finally, well, now with the glass breaking and all this rioting, that's basically how it started. Now let's go 2 years ago and see how it started.
Nestled in a trendy part of Mexico City is a small symbol of resistance. This figure, the so-called patron saint against gentrification. Activists and researchers warn a digital nomad influx in the capital is exacerbating inflation and transforming neighborhoods into expat bubbles. The patron saint's creator, artist Sandra Valenzuela, sees the phenomenon as a rising threat.
What happens is that when people do not have enough money to live in their country cities, they end up going to cheaper countries where they can afford to live. In the end, it's a problem that moves, just as it displaces people.
Now you see, it started with just a small saint, in the middle of a park in Mexico City, protesting the gentrification that is slowly starting to happen. Because what happens is most people, they come from America and other countries in Europe also, but they do not bother to assimilate. By that, they create their own bubbles. They don't try to learn Spanish. And even the menus, there are so many videos of the menus in like the taquerias and many places in restaurants in Mexico City having to be changed to English. So they want Mexico to adapt to their way of life, not the other way around, even though they are the ones who are new to Mexico. They are driving up the rents and everything. It was bound to reach boiling point. So it started, as you see, a saint, very innocent. Let's continue.
Nearly 2 million foreigners arrived at the Mexico City International Airport in the first half of this year, approaching the record 2.5 million in the first half of 2019. Demand for short-term rentals has surged 44% over the same period, according to market research company AirDNA. Marco Ailing, a writer and content creator from California, says the math of remote work makes sense.
There's obviously a lot of advantages if you can earn in dollars and spend in pesos.
In the Lux area of Condesa, some homeowners are turning to rental platforms like Airbnb. They can earn $1,300 a month in profit, according to the neighborhood association.
Remember the name Condesa. Condesa is a neighborhood in Mexico City, is where a majority of these expats, immigrants, would go to and live, and they would drive up the rent. So the homeowners realized, hey, we can charge more to foreigners instead of having locals paying us in pesos. They can pay us in dollars. So they started kicking out people, the locals, and the neighborhood became fully gentrified. But let's finish this video, and then now we go 1 year after this video so that you see the progress of anger building up.
President, in a city where most workers earn less than $3 an hour on average. The stark divide between rich and poor is well known, but some say even rich residents are being priced out. And the local atmosphere is changing.
A la llegada de estas personas y con la vida nocturna.
When all these people arrived and with all the nightlife, noise and the amount of people passing by increased, it did not feel safe anymore and they could not rest.
Still, Ailing says there are some intangible positives to keep in mind.
I think a lot of people are dispelling a lot of the negative preconceptions about Mexico. They're realizing that no, it's not just narcos and violence and poverty.
Okay, enough of that nonsense. The guy is basically saying that they're doing Mexicans a favor by showing that Mexico, there's another side of Mexico, you know. So, like us moving here, we are doing you a favor. Now the world can see it's not about poverty and crime. So he's just doing some gringo talk, like Mexicans would say. Shout out to all my Mexicans. Shout out to Dr. Simi. Shout out to, you know, all the Oxos and... That was stupid. Anyway, let's continue now 1 year after that video and see the anger slowly building up. And as we watch this video, please like, subscribe.
New to the city, working remotely, you're a plague and locals hate you. Leave. This poster is just one of many displays of anger in Mexico City that are targeted at the increasing number of foreigners moving there.
The rapid growth of remote work has given people more freedom to pick the places they like to live and earn a living. And lately, more Americans have been choosing Mexico, including Mexico City.
The amount of Americans moving to Mexico City has risen drastically in the last few years, and with it came pushback.
So these people that call themselves digital nomads or whatever are peak neo-colonialism, monetizing their following on social media by showing them how they too can become modern-day colonizers themselves.
Okay, so you see it went from, you know, a little, you know, saint on the park to get the F out of here and you're a fucking neo-colonialist. So the anger is slowly building up. Now we're gonna finish up with a video of the windows breaking and the looting, because now the anger reached boiling points. Let's continue.
The issue started at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. While most countries shut their borders, Mexico remained open to U.S. visitors. The pandemic also increased the popularity of a laptop class in the U.S. As remote workers relocated, they gravitated towards destinations like Mexico City, where they could explore somewhere new, but work in a similar time zone. Mexico City is significantly more affordable than many major U.S. cities. According to worldatlas.com, the average monthly rent in Mexico City is $770, compared to $3,890 in New York City.
Wow, $770. I guess that was back then, because now with gentrification, it definitely increased, and it's not good. It's understandable, the anger, because I know people would say, but Mexicans are moving to America in the thousands. We should be doing the same, or why are they reacting like this? And it's ironic and things like that. Yes, it's understandable, but you have to understand that the income level between America and Mexico is totally different. So Mexicans moving to America, the Americans are not earning in pesos. Americans are not earning, US pesos, like something lower than a peso. It's not strong as a, So it makes a huge difference when you're going there with US dollars, paying in dollars. It is going to drive up the cost. It's going to be probably the reverse if Mexicans are moving to America in large numbers. Most of the time, no offense or anything, it happens even for us. I'm an immigrant. The property values and everything normally goes to shit in that neighborhood. Not gonna lie, that's the truth. Truth hurts, but let's continue.
So why are Mexico City's locals fed up with the influx of American remote workers? For starters, studies put Mexico in the top 5 countries when it comes to COVID mortality rate. Studies have actually linked the spread of coronavirus to the increasing number of American travelers. Mexico City natives have also pointed out that instead of supporting local businesses, American transplants are spending money on foreign-owned ventures. Additionally, the laptop class doesn't pay income taxes. It's up for debate whether this tax privilege boosts local economies, though. Most importantly, locals are losing their homes and jobs. Poorly regulated housing laws allow private corporations and landlords to push out locals to renovate properties into luxury rentals. Cultural hubs that have fostered generations of Mexican artists have also disappeared. Many locals consider this a new wave of colonization. The problem
Sorry, I had to pause it there because the video explains it super well. It is a government issue. It is the same thing that is happening in Spain, In Spain, the Airbnbs have gone crazy. The government was not doing anything. So now in Spain, Barcelona, you get sprayed like, I don't know, like a dog. You get sprayed like you're at a car wash by the locals because they don't want tourists there. I did a video on Spain, anti-immigrant sentiment. I think I'll link it at the end of this so you can watch what's happening. It's in Mexico, it's happening in Spain, and it's a worldwide anti-immigration fever, I think, that is building. Every country does not want immigrants anymore. Not sure why, but let's finish this and then go to present day boiling point anger. Let's continue.
The problem is only getting worse as American remote workers head farther south into other Latin American cities like San Jose and Quito, with socioeconomic inequalities largely contributing to the growing rate of human displacement. Maybe it's time to look at how Americans can relocate ethically and respectfully.
Okay, now we are back to present day. Present day, the video, how it started with the glass breaking. Let's hear what the protest was about. If their concerns are genuine, let me know in the comments if you agree with them rebelling against immigration, against gentrification. Plus, things are bound to get worse because now I'm hearing from my Mexican sources. I have lots of Mexican sources. Lots of Mexican sources who are telling me that in some areas, they want to build housing for the immigrants. By immigrants, I mean the normal immigrants, the ones who don't call themselves expats. By immigrants, I mean like the Venezuelans and other people who came from the south border. The local governments in Mexico City and other states want to build housing for the Venezuelans and others. And that is going to cause another issue. That is guaranteed to cause more issues against immigration. But let's go back to this video. Let's continue.
If they're going to live in a country, they have to contribute to that country. The first and simplest issue is legal migration. They come here with visas or no visas, and still the change in purchasing power generates these problems of gentrification and displacement.
I'm here because gentrification is just one more step towards colonization, dispossession, and the exploitation of our resources. Right now it's about the people, but it won't be long before they run out of oil, water, or lithium in other countries and come and take them from us.
Many Americans in Mexico are able to still receive high salaries in dollars from U.S. companies by working on laptops from their apartments.
The government is directing its public policies towards people with higher purchasing power, often illegally displacing local populations who have lived in these neighborhoods for 40, 50, and we have even documented cases of up to 60 years. In 5 years, rents have increased by 47%.
47%. No mames way. Like that's how. Sorry, I had to channel my inner Mexican. No manches. Like that's how much the rents are increasing. Like in just a few years. It's not regulated. Plus I had Mexico City has issues with water. So the water supply, they prioritize these rich neighborhoods like Condesa. The other people in Mexico City, they suffer from water issues. So those things, of course, are going to build up resentment against the foreigners. So this is all government, poor governance that is causing this issue. Mexicans in general are normally very friendly. In the rankings of the world, you normally see them as one of the most friendly people in the world. But even the most friendly people, they reach a breaking point. So for me, I understand why they reach this point. But let me know if you understand, if you agree, if you don't agree, let me know in the comments. Let's finish this video and let's go.
This is violent for the local population. We are debating whether to pay for electricity, water, or food. Of course, we choose to eat.
Some activists blame Mexico's government for encouraging them. However, there's no simple fix. Imposing tougher visa restrictions on Americans could worsen relations with the U.S. Mexican citizens in the U.S. also send billions of dollars in remittances back to their families in Mexico. In a world where travel and communication are faster and easier than ever, these two nations are finding it harder to have neighborly relations. Wilson Dysart, Al Jazeera.
So that's it. That's the video. I've shown you 2 years. We went in the past. We watched 2 years how it started. A little protest in a park. It went to now insults, get the hell out of Mexico. And now it reached boiling points where now they're even protesting. And there was some looting, some breaking, damage to property. All that because of gentrification. Now, this is just the beginning. It started in Mexico City, and I don't want to be a prophet of doom, but I do believe it will be growing and growing and growing more and more in different cities because the amount of foreigners in Mexico is unbelievable. The amount. It is a lot of foreigners. Of course, I would not want anybody to be harmed, but I'm just prophesying that this will start happening in other cities, in other places. Shout out to all my poblanos. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Dr. Simi. We're going to be dancing once again. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. If you like this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and of course, share this on all the networks. I'll see you.
Oh my goodness, all the networks! Wow! All the networks!